So this conversation happened between me and this person I'd never met at a party the other night. It made a lot of sense to me why it happened, but it also made me think about why it really is happening in the first place, all over the world. And it was a conversation that started by me talking about how I don't get out super often, and then we started talking about the amount of friends that we have, and then eventually we got to talking about online friends. And it was unfortunate and a little sad, but also a little bit funny, this guy saying this to me. But he said, I know it's effing stupid, but yeah, I have a lot of online friends. And it made me stop for a second. It was interesting to me that someone would preface something like that by saying that it's effing stupid. And I found it particularly funny because I have a pretty wide net of friends online from all corners of the internet. So it's not abnormal for me to have these kinds of connections. At the time, too, I could tell that it wasn't one of those, blow-off, whatever things. There were girls around, and there was a girl that I later found out that he liked. And he was the first to shit on himself for having this nerdy, dumb thing, or so he says. And I made sure to cushion him a little bit. I told him in front of these people that it's totally cool to have online friends. And wherever you met them, it doesn't matter. Connections are connections. And it was all good. There was no embarrassment or anything after that, and the conversation went on. But it got me thinking afterwards. And it's something that I've struggled with for a long time as well. I have a lot of connections and people that I know that are very artistic, and they do a lot of the traditional arts like acting and painting and music and all that stuff. So it was kind of difficult for me to introduce the forms of art I do, which are mainly related to digital art like virtual photography, as well as YouTube videos and all that stuff. And in a couple instances, I didn't feel super recognized as it being a real art form. But in the end, that doesn't really matter, because that's the point that I'm trying to get at. The coolest thing you can do, in my opinion, is what you want to do. Obviously, not hurting people or anything like that, but enjoying what you do is one of the most attractive features, in my opinion. I have spent so much time in my life crapping on myself for having interests that are not the same as other people. I was never sporty. I was never traditionally artistic. I was never involved with the cool kids. I always had my niche, weird little interests. And I didn't even fit into the bookworm category or anything like that. So I wished I was different for a long time, but now doing what I want to do and being proud of it and saying with a puffed out chest that this is what I do, not to be in people's faces about it, but just with the same confidence that I see them exude about what they like and what is pretty socially accepted for them to like. But for anybody that likes gaming, or found a lot of their friends online, or is into non-traditional types of art, or something niche, something that most people wouldn't understand, please do not preface what you're doing with your life by putting yourself down. One, it doesn't look good to the other person, because honestly, no one really likes it when you shut yourself down. And two, it doesn't feel good on you when you put yourself a step lower than them almost instantaneously. Confidence is one of those things that comes with time, but it's really important that you start working on it now. Whatever you do with your life is worthy of being talked about and discussed and cared for, and it matters. So it's interesting to me how that little conversation spiraled into such a big thought in my mind, but it's definitely something I've been wrestling with for a long time, and I absolutely do not fit into the same category as most people, but that's okay. And if you don't either, that's okay too. Anyways, let me know your thoughts on these past videos, as well as this one. The reception has been quite nice to see, and I appreciate everybody's comments on the topics and everything like that. I do have a Patreon in my description there if you want to support a small creator. It contains all of my favorite virtual photography in high definition, as well as my undying gratitude comes with the package as well. If you feel so inclined, please like the video and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.